Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle, and I'm currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In a previous episode, I talked about the signs of the Ahab spirit, and in this episode, I am going to talk about the month of August 2022. So I've decided that I'm going to break August down into segments. So in this first segment in the month of August of 2022, I'm going to talk about the dreams I had in the month of August, just so that I can get it out the way. And the dreams I had were 4. If I remember any other one, I'll probably do a separate episode about that. So in this episode, y'all, I am going to talk about the dreams I had in the month of August 2022. So here it goes. So the first dream I'm going to talk about is a car dream. So in the dream, I was walking into a parking garage where I parked my car. I had just left the building, walking to the garage. I see my car, and as I'm approaching my car, I use my key to unlock the door. So I get to the driver's side. I open the door. As soon as I open my door, y'all, somebody opens my passenger side door as well. So somebody was trying to get into my car. So I remember me and this person get into the car. It's this man, this short man. Don't know who he was. None of that, right? So he gets into the car. I get into the car at the same time, and I'm telling him to leave. Y'all, this man did not want to leave my car. So I'm like, leave. This is my car. Get out of my car, leave. This man refused to leave my car. So I start my car, and I noticed that this guy was in my car because he wanted to steal my car. So I remember I start my car and I'm backing up. The next thing you know, he is trying to take over the steering wheel. So now we're fighting over the steering wheel. We're driving in this parking garage, y'all, and we're just switching lanes, just moving the steering wheel. It got to a point where I was like, you know what? I need to stop because I didn't want to get into a car accident. I didn't want anything bad happen to me. So I let go of the steering wheel. Not only did I let go of the steering wheel, y'all, I got out of a moving car. Yeah, y'all. I was just like so tired of fighting with the man. Even though, y'all, it's my car, I was just so tired of fighting with the man. I just didn't want anything bad to happen to me. So I'm like, yo, if he's going to steal my car, so be it. So I get out of the moving car. This man goes straight into the driver's seat. He closes the door and he drives off of the garage with my car. So now I'm like looking at my car just being stolen by this random man. I'm like, man, just, ugh. So anyways, I remember turning around to walk to the other direction. The next thing you know, y'all, I hear this big crash. The scene switches. The scene switches to me still being in the parking garage, y'all. I'm in the parking garage, but this time there's a bunch of police officers at the scene. There's a caution tape. There's forensic and all of that. I'm looking at the ground and I see a pool of blood. I see the man who stole my car, and I see my car. It's wrecked. So apparently, y'all, the man who stole my car, he died as a result of stealing my car. He crashed into one of the walls in the parking garage. So I'm standing there looking at the police officer, the forensic, my car, the man's body, the dead body on the floor. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, yo, that's crazy. This man died as a result of stealing my car. That's crazy. And another thing, y'all, I was afraid in the dream because they were looking inside the car. They were looking at documents. My car is registered under my name. So I didn't want them to see my registration and somehow think that I'm linked to this man's death. So I remember just standing there being super nervous. The next thing you know, I see a police officer holding a binder and he's approaching me. So I'm like, ooh, hope I'm not in trouble. He approaches me and he tells me what happened. He says, yeah, the man died he died on impact. He crashed into the wall, yada, yada, yada. The next thing you know, y'all, he hands me this binder. He says, this is for you. So I'm like, okay, he's not trying to arrest me. He's not trying to do anything, bad to me. I'm not in trouble. But he hands me this binder, and I'm like, okay. So I opened the binder, y'all, and it's my car registration. So I open it, and I see the year of my car, and I see the color of my car. Here's where things got iffy, y'all. I saw the make and the model. Everything was correct except for the name. My car was registered under a different name. The name I saw in the dream was Harper Thomas. So now I'm looking at this binder and thinking, why is my car registered under someone else's name? I'm like, this is my car. This car is registered under my name. Why is my car registered under another name? Who is Harper Thomas? And that was the end of the dream, y'all. So now I'm waking up thinking about my dream. And I'm like, yo, this is like the third car dream I've had where something bad is happening to my car. But this third one, I see someone doing something to my car. The person died as a result of it. But why is my car registered under someone else's name? Now, at this time, I'm interpreting my dreams. I already know that anytime I have a car dream, that's the Lord letting me know that the car is symbolic for my life. So I'm thinking, okay, is somebody trying to steal my life? Because if a person's trying to steal my life, they're going to die as a result of that. Why is my car registered under someone else's name? Like, who is Harper Thomas? So I didn't understand it back then in 2022. Later on, I did. The Lord brought some revelation to me later on in 2023, and it was linked to the dream. So that was one of the dreams I had in August of 2022. Now, the second dream I had, which was very interesting as well, it was a Brandon and Caitlin dream. So I'm going to tell y'all the dream. So in the dream, I was in Brandon and Caitlin's house, the house that they were renting at the time. That was Gray House. So I was in the house. I was in front of Brandon and Caitlin's bedroom. So I was standing by like their hallway in front of their bedroom. Now, in this particular scene, the bedroom door was open. Lily and Caitlin were in Caitlin and Brandon's bedroom. I can see them, but they couldn't see me. Now, every time or anytime I have a dream that I can see people, but people can't see me, that is God's way of letting me know, like, hey, I want to let you in on a little secret. So I see Caitlin, I see Lily in Brandon and Caitlin's bedroom. They can't see me. The next thing you know, Brandon comes by. He can't see me. He gets to the door and he yells, Lily, get out of here. Like, he just yells at her to get out. So she gets scared. So she gets out of the room, right? She gets out of the room. Brandon is by the door. He slams the door. And the next thing you know, him and Caitlin are both yelling at one another. And that was the end of the dream. I said, okay, I'm having a dream where Brandon and Caitlin are arguing. Okay, so I would not get into the interpretation now until later on, because I think later on, like in the month of October, so that was when I got the interpretation of that dream. And it was attached to other things as well. So the third dream I had, y'all, in this dream, I was pregnant. Now, here's the thing about this dream. I wasn't afraid that I was pregnant, okay? In the dream, I was pregnant. I knew I was pregnant. I was happy I was pregnant. I was also in my family's house in Jersey. So my stomach was so big. I was just waiting for this baby to come through. That was that. So now the scene switches to me being in the delivery room. So I'm about to give birth to this child. Then seconds later, the scene switches to me being at home, and I'm holding my baby girl. I gave birth. So in the dream, it's me and my mom. My mom is just so excited that I gave birth to this baby girl. I get a visit from my uncle. He found out about my delivery. He comes and visits me, and he congratulates me. and all that. So that was the end of that dream. So when I had that dream, I was like, okay, God, I'm going to give birth to the promises that you have for me. So that was a really good dream. I'm so thankful that God gave me that dream at that time because, y'all, I was feeling so discouraged back in 2022. The fourth dream I had, it was a Brandon dream. In the dream, I was with a friend, and we were at a shopping complex in Atlanta. Now, here's the thing with the shopping complex. It was kind of empty. There wasn't really that many cars outside. It kind of seemed like stores hadn't yet really opened like that because it was kind of empty. The parking lot was empty. So it was me and her. We were just walking around. We're walking around. The next thing you know, I see these guys pass us by and they're going to a sneaker store. And I look at them and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's Brandon. So it was Brandon, Nami, and some other guys. So I see Brandon. I'm like, oh my goodness, Brandon is back in Atlanta. So they go into a sneaker store, and me and my friend, we just hover all over that place just to kind of see what Brandon is up to or whatever. And that was that. That was the dream I had. So I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm having dreams that Brandon is coming back to Atlanta. But when I was checking on Brandon back in July, it looked like he still wanted to stay in Oklahoma. Him and Caitlin had a clothing store online, and it just didn't seem like the dreams I had didn't seem like it was what was happening in real life. So I'm like, okay, maybe God is giving me these dreams because it's going to happen in the future. All of this is going to come into fruition down the line, So those were the 4 dreams I had. Y'all, I just remembered 2 that I had. So I want to talk about that. So the 5th one, it was a Brandon and Caitlin dream. So in the dream, y'all, it was Halloween. It was Halloween in the dream, and Caitlin had went out. And in the dream, she called Brandon and she told him that he should get the girls ready and he should also be ready for trick or treat. She says she's on her way home and they should be all dressed up, right? So in this dream, y'all, they were staying in an apartment complex or so. So anyways, Caitlin gets home and Brandon comes out with the girls. But here's the thing. Brandon comes out and he's wearing a yellow dress. Now, here's the thing about this yellow dress. Caitlin was the one who told him to wear the yellow dress for Halloween. So when she sees him, she's like, oh yeah, you wore the dress that I picked out for you. Okay, let's go. But before they left, though, I want to add, I remember Caitlin took a picture. Yes, I remember Caitlin took a picture, and then that's when they left for trick-or-treating. Now, I'm standing somewhere far off in this environment, in this complex, and I'm looking at Brandon like, oh my goodness, Caitlin told Brandon to wear a yellow dress for a costume, for Halloween, and he did that. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing because a man should not wear a girl's outfit, So in that dream, I knew she was controlling him. In real life, y'all, I knew Caitlin was controlling him. She was one pulling the strings and stuff like that. So that was the 5th dream I had. The 6th dream I had, and this was the last one, I remember being in London. And when I say London, I'm talking about the actual city of London, I was there. I was there shopping and stuff like that, So anyways, I was in London. I had traveled to London. And I remember going to a store in London. Now, here's the thing about this store. This store is not in London. It's in the U.S., but it's not in the actual city of London. So I remember shopping at that store. Then the scene switched to me being with a social media influencer. This social media influencer is based off of England. So I was with her, and I remember being with her. It got to a point where I was in her home, and I think her manager or publicist, they told her about some work she had to do, and she didn't have an assistant. So I remember just standing there, and I was telling her hey, I can be your assistant. I can do whatever work that needs to be done. And in the dream, she was super thankful and grateful. And that was kind of like the end of the dream. Now, at this time, when I had this dream, all I could think about was London, the tech company. But later on, down the line, I had other dreams where I played an assistant to a social media influencer. So when I get to that part of the story, I would definitely translate or interpret this dream. So yeah, y'all, that was basically all the dreams I had in the month of August. If I remember any other one, I would definitely do an episode about that. But yeah, that was all the dreams that I had in the month of August. So in the next episode, y'all, I'm going to talk about myself. I'm going to talk about myself, and I probably may talk about Caitlin and Brandon as well, because a lot of information was discovered in that month, and all the other months too as well. So yeah, y'all, if you are liking An Unlikely Story, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please also share my videos as well. And until next time, bye.